After nearly 40 surgeries and years of recovery against all odds, Kirstie transformed herself into an elite athlete who has now set her sights on conquering one of the most difficult mountain climbing challenges in the world. Take a look. Just 4 months after her 17th birthday, Kirstie Ennis heard the calling to serve her country. Following the footsteps of her mother and father, she joined the Marines, where she served proudly as a helicopter gunner and mechanic, the only woman in her shop. But on June 23, 2012, on her second tour of duty in Afghanistan, Kirstie nearly lost her life when her helicopter crashed, resulting in extensive injuries. 3 years into her long and painful recovery, Kirstie was heartbroken when she learned her leg would need to be amputated. It was devastating news, but she refused to let it keep her down. After the accident, Kirstie found purpose in snowboarding, eventually becoming one of the most talented Paralympians in the sport. Now Kirstie is tackling a new calling as a mountaineer. The 28-year-old is on a mission to climb what's known as the 7 Summits, the tallest peak in each of the 7 continents. A decade after the crash that nearly took her life, Kirstie says she's done more now on one leg than she ever dreamt of doing on 2. Oh my gosh! Kirstie Ennis joins us from Cranberry, New Jersey. Oh my goodness! Okay, first of all, thank you for your service to this country. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Absolutely. It was an honor to serve.
You know, my mouth is on the ground. First of all, just looking at the pictures of everything you do, you're boxing, you're climbing, you're doing it all. When you look at it, how does it feel?
It's pretty surreal. If you'd have asked me, like you said, a decade ago, if I'd be doing any of the things that I'm doing now, I wouldn't believe you. I honestly would still be in the Marine Corps. I'd probably still be overseas, and I would be serving my community in a totally different way than what I am right now.
Well, you're serving as an inspiration in this new way. I got to tell you, this really started, as I understand, you had a trip to the tallest mountain in Africa, and that set you on this path. What happened on that trip?
So what led me to climbing Kilimanjaro, the highest peak in Africa, down in Tanzania, was actually after I lost my 2016 snowboarding season. I had to have another surgery, and they ended up removing another 1.5 inches of my femur. And I was pretty devastated. You know, I thought that whole goal of representing my country and wearing the team uniform all over again was really turned into a nightmare. And honestly, just to keep my wits about me, I decided that I was going to turn to the mountains in a different way. And I had this wild idea that I was going to go down to Tanzania, and in conjunction with climbing that mountain, I was going to actually raise money for clean water for the East Tanzanians.
Wow.
And yeah, I was very successful down there. I was up and down the mountain in 4.5 days, which is unheard of. And in turn, we ended up raising $150,000 for clean water. And that was when.
I mean, okay, to your point. So 4 days it took you. What does it normally take someone if they accomplish it?
Typically 9 or 10 days.
So in half the time?
Yeah.
On that 4th day, when you realized what you'd accomplished, what did it feel like, especially reflecting on the dark days that you faced?
Well, really, it was just a reminder of my why, why I continue convincing myself to put one foot in front of the other, learning to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, and realizing that it's not about me anymore. It's about all the sets of eyes that are on me. I want, men, women, and children to see what I'm doing and take it as a challenge to be better, faster, and stronger in their daily lives. And so that's why I keep doing what I do.
Well, you got me smiling from ear to ear. You do. You scaled the tallest mountain in Africa, Europe, South America, North America, Oceania, earlier this year, and you reached the summit of Mount Vinson. That's the highest point in Antarctica. Do you know how long I spent on Google trying to find these places, let alone that you attacked these challenges? Do you see any challenge that you want to pass on, or do you just see something that you can conquer?
I see it as something that I can conquer. I think it all comes down to where you keep your head and your heart. That's what determines what we're capable of.
Okay, so Mount Everest is the last peak you need to climb to reach your quest of seven summits. What's the schedule? What's the timeline here?
Well, so to be totally transparent, I actually did an Everest attempt back in 2019 and ended up turning around 600 feet before the summit because my climbing partners ran out of oxygen. And while it was a very difficult decision to make, it was the right decision. So I'm very grateful and proud now to say that I'm going back to Everest in April of 2023.
What's the training like up until then? Okay, Mount Everest, we got your name and number, and we're coming for you, Mount Everest. So tell me, what's the training like from here on?
It's pretty relentless. It's 4 days of strength and conditioning, 3 days of just what we call time in the saddle. So being outside, doing altitude training, doing interval training, making sure that I can increase my heart rate, but then also maintain and control it. So that way up at altitude, I can keep moving at a decent pace. And so, yeah, right now it's full throttle as we roll into just about a year out.
I'm just going to read, just before we let you go, some of the things that you've accomplished. As you said, you've done more with one leg than two. You are a world-renowned Paralympic snowboarder, an elite mountaineer. You have 3 master's degrees. You're in the midst of getting a doctorate. And now you're going to take on Everest. You really mean that when you say you've done more with this part of your chapters of your life than before, which is incredible.
I'm honestly grateful that I've had the dark days because it has made me a better person and it has given me the opportunity to see the light every day.
You are a wonderful person and such an inspiration. Thank you. We'll be looking for you 2023 and rooting for you.